Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast / YouTube / We Do It All. As always, I'm your host, John. Very happy to be here. My boy Jay Hiz over there in the six. How you doing, my dog?
Weekends here, can't complain, but also can't complain because we got a great guest, a finalist for Kentucky Mr. Basketball in 2007, a proven track record speaks for himself, a proven winner, man. Italian national team member, Jeffrey Brooks Jr. Welcome onto the show. Welcome to Clutch Talk, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you guys today.
Man, it's a, it's a
Sir.
pl- it's a pleasure to have a player like you on, man. So, like I were talking a little bit off camera, man. For today's episode, man, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get into a little bit of Jeffrey's career and how where it started to where it is now and what's next for Jeffrey. Is everybody? I hope everybody out there is cool with that. Jeffrey, you cool getting into that?
I very much so. Let's do it.
Man, let's get
Let's do it.
straight into it, man. So, what we like to start here is where it all started. So we know you were born in Kentucky, man. But what I want to know is who put that ball in your hands and at what age?
It was my pops. He always tells people like right away when I came home from the hospital, that was like the first thing that was ever given to me was a ball. So it was like kind of like, oh, put him in his crib. Oh, there's a ball in the crib. All right, we good. And it just started from there. So and then basketball's kind of all I knew growing up. From the moment I really started to move around, that was like one of the only toys I would play with all the time was a ball or something that could signify a ball. And just basketball has been it for 33 years now.
Man.
That's
Okay,
dope.
so this just like one of those things where the love of basketball was just born onto you was something you were just born with. But I know, so I know you said your pops said that you were in it early. But as a kid, do you remember like modeling your game out for somebody or watching somebody being like, man, like that's what I'm trying to play like. That's what I want to be like that.
Oh, of course. I mean, I grew up in the '90s, so I feel like not just me, every kid growing up in the early '90s, it was MJ. Everybody wanted to be Michael Jordan. Allen Iverson happened a little later once I was going into like middle school. So all I knew is everybody talked about Michael Jordan. Everybody wanted to do the reverse layups and try to dunk from the free throw line and the fadeaway and all that. So that was always a guy I was trying to model, other than my dad, of course. But Michael Jordan was always the guy we used to watch. We used to watch Bulls games even if they came on super late when I was young, from like ages 5 through 10. That was all we had in the house was Bulls gear here. I had a Bulls basketball goal with Michael Jordan put on the back of your door. And I remember, I think it was like my fourth grade year. My mom made me throw it away because of how much I used to play on it. And like Michael Jordan, you couldn't turn it off. So when you played on it, he was always talking. And I'm talking about from like 7 p.m., bro, to like 9:30, 10. That's all I was doing in the house. And it was always MJ, always MJ. And that still hurts me to this day. She made me throw away that damn basketball goal. I was gonna give it to my son. I was gonna give it to my future son. But yeah, so it's always been MJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then if it's always been MJ, I mean me personally, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a more of a LeBron guy. Then so I gotta
hmm
ask you, are you for when I go to opinion, you got MJ with you then, or are you still rocking with LeBron now?
Oh, see now the whole conversation changes because we were talking about like my childhood. Now, I'm a grown man and things have you have a whole different perspective on the game and everything you've seen, you've been cultured to. I know this is weird when I say it, but I always use this argument with people. I feel like LeBron is the greatest talent of all time, but I
Okay.
feel like MJ is the greatest player of all time because of the accolades, the winning, the culture of basketball. It comes from MJ. Like you don't get LeBron without MJ. I don't play ball like that outside of what I'm doing now if it wasn't for MJ. You know what I'm saying? He's always been the inspiration. So that's how I always get my little answer when people ask me that question. I always break it down in two different ways, and I can't really describe it any other way than that, in my opinion. People hate me for it, but that's my answer.
I like it.
Nah, that's a fair answer too, because You know, Jeff, I think of it like it's so subjective too, because it's like what era you grew up in. If you're like a
Hmm.
90s kid, if someone from the 2000s will probably say Bron because they've seen him majority of his career. They saw what
Exactly.
the Wizards Jordan or whatever. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I think of the same way too. I think LeBron's probably the best all around player, but I just think MJ's the greatest. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. That's how I think about it. Like
It's nothing you can
he's
really
yeah,
argue about that. And
yeah.
like I feel like everything that comes along with the game, like you just can't take away from in a sense, of the originator. Like it was MJ.
Hmm.
Everybody, whatever you want to say, anybody want to talk, but we all know where it stems from. It stems from MJ. You know, you
Right.
had your Dr. J, your Larry Bird, your Magic, but when MJ stepped on the floor and when
Hmm.
he hit the Bulls scene, bro, the whole idea about basketball changed. It became a worldwide phenomenon. It was because of Michael Jordan. Now LeBron is taking it to different heights, of course, because now we have social media, we have YouTube, and all these different things to be able to see more of LeBron. But once again, you don't get that without MJ. You just don't.
Thanks.
Man, facts. Okay. So then, we keep it pushing, and your child, you have your childhood playing on that little hoop, and then we
Hmm.
we get to high school. You decide to go to Doss High School in Kentucky. So talk to us a little bit about your how your high school experience was. Like how Jay said, you were a finalist for Mr. Basketball in Kentucky. You're the number two player in Kentucky. You were named the Player of the Year. But talk to us about how your experience was. Did you feel like the big man on campus, or how was it?
I was actually just talking about this the other day, and I actually tell guys that like I'm working out with some high school kids now and some college guys, and I'll tell them my story because like mine is kind of unique in a sense. Like mine, everything that happened, it happened out of nowhere. So like I went to Shawnee High for 2 years actually, and then I transferred to Doss. And in those first 2 years, I was people knew me maybe at the park and all that, but when it came to like organized ball, nobody knew me. Nobody knew my name really. Then junior year happened, and I hit a growth spurt that summer. AAU, of course, was OD back in the day. Compared to what it is now, it's not really the same at all. Like it was really dog fights, bro. Like when you played AAU, the guys you run into, the venues, it was just a different. I feel like it was a different age, and I had a really good run that year, and then I grew like 5 inches. So I went from a 6'2" center, but I was also always having guard skills into a 6'7" wingman. So it was kind of like, well, who the hell is this guy? So then junior year happens, played pretty well. Then that summer, everything started. So I went to a camp in Kentucky called the Rick Bolas camp. I won everything in that camp. Then I went to 5 Star, won everything at that camp up in Robert Morris University. Then I was playing in AAU circuit. I was scoring 40 here. Not just the scoring, it was just that just different type of game. 27, 15 here, 26, 13, 8 blocked, all types of things. And so people were just like, who y'all heard of this kid, Jeff? Who the hell is this guy? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So all these things stem from just like literally that first camp because Rick Bowles was saying I was the best player in Kentucky, bar none. And I went from being literally a nobody as far as the basketball scene in the state of Kentucky to from 1 week to literally the next week, I was in the newspapers and everything. And I didn't know I didn't really understand what was going on. So, like, I guess you can just say it was too much humility, but I just didn't understand the whole thing about big man on campus. I've always been a catalyst, you know what I'm saying? I've always been a catalyst about team and winning and success. So I never had this personal individual idea about I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying? No, I was like, whatever I have, I can bring to the table to help my team win, or my high school team, AU team, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that makes sense too, because you talk about you being you wanting to win and that sort of thing and bringing that success forward, which we'll talk. I'll have a few questions about that later, but it makes sense you had that mentality and mindset on early in your career and early in high school because it obviously carried on to your professional career where you've been very
Yes, sir.
successful. Um, But Jeff, I want to know in terms of the Kentucky basketball scene, because we obviously see University of Kentucky and their big following, and I hear a lot about Kentucky. Obviously, John and I are from the Bay, if you don't know, so we from in
Okay.
California. But
Yes,
I hear
sir.
about Kentucky, like Indiana, some of those Midwest, if you want to call it,
Hmm.
states being big basketball states. So how was it growing up and playing in that environment? Was there a lot of people at games, or what was the scene like at that?
Well,
Like,
for me personally, like once my situation happened individually, and then I went to Dawson, everybody kind of started knowing my name and you know, the the credibility started coming with it because all this guy, people talking about him nationally now and blah blah. Yeah, gyms were packed, bro. Like when we were playing games throughout the city, games throughout the state, like damn near every gym was sold out, and because we had a really good team too as far as Kentucky basketball goes. I mean, it's different because California, New York, Florida, Texas. Y'all guys in those different states, you guys have a lot of different things that come along with the game too. The size is different. The the physicality is different. The rules are different. Like we still don't even have a shot clock here. It's 2022, and in Kentucky basketball, they don't have a shot clock. So like it's just a different feel for the game where it's just this whole idea of team and basketball is everything. You know what I'm saying? In a sense. So it was a lot of tough matchups and a lot of tough games I had in high school, and really some really packed venues, and just the energy and the feel of the game was amazing. Still like that today. It's just that I feel like as far as Kentucky, they still kind of, like I was saying, the dark ages, like to develop more guys to be more comfortable for the next level. They need to add things to get guys ready for the next level. And I feel like one of the biggest things would be a shot clock and blah 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 blah.
Okay, man. All right. So after you have a very successful high school career, and we didn't even talk about the fact that you won a dunk contest at the Blue Chips camp, which I think is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely insane. Me, the closest I ever got to dunking was maybe we lowered that to like a 9 foot. I'll take a soccer
Right
ball with
on.
me, and I might get one, right? Like
I heard you.
I want to know, how does it feel to be like 16, 17, winning dunk contests? Like that's not normal. The average person don't know what that feel like. So if you could paint the picture for a regular 16 or 17-year-old what that feels like.
The crazy thing was, like, I remember being like 15, 16, like I was barely dunking the ball, bro. Like I wasn't taking off like crazy or nothing, but I remember my dad gave me this weight vest and I was wearing it like all summer, all that all that summer going into that camp and everything. So honestly, bro, when I was taking the weight vest off, I was doing shit in air. Excuse my language. I was doing things in air. I was like, yo, where did this come from? Like, I wasn't doing this 2, 3 weeks ago. So I'm talking about throwing off the backboard windmill, throwing off the bounce windmill, 360, almost windmilling at the age of 16. I was like, yo, I'm getting a little nice. Like, this is different. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, to win that dunk camp, it was actually some other athletes from other states that was at that camp. And it was some dudes that just, they couldn't complete their dunks. And that was my main thing. I didn't miss any of my dunks. And I had a lot of um, flair to mine off of 1 foot, then the 2 foot package would be more power. But I was completing my dunks. That's the important thing. You got to make the dunk. It ain't about the trick you're trying to do. It's about actually finishing the damn dunk. And that's how I won that dunk contest.
what
Yeah.
did you what did you do for like what was the closer? You remember if you I don't know if you remember like what was the closing dunk? Uh
I think the closer dunk I did in that one, I threw it. I think I threw it up off the bounce and I caught it from like around the third dash
Mm-hmm.
oh,
windmill, like
okay.
a sidewinder windmill, and that one I think that was in the final round. But like honestly, the first couple of dunks I did to really just because you had like a tryout basis in this dunk contest, it was kind of like, all right, we're gonna see who the best dunkers in the camp were. And then I remember one time I just threw it up and like I was just damn near head level at the rim, and I just dunked it. And they was like, okay, he's in. Like, and they just sat me down like right immediately. So from there, like I just watched the rest of the competitors, and I just kind of started seeing what other guys were doing, and kind of like studying the competition. I was like, okay, that guy, he likes to jump further. He's not really a trick guy. He likes to try to either glide or show how far he can jump from, different things like that. So it was cool. That's one of the only damn dunk contests I've ever really competed in, and I won. So I can take that is my claim to fame as far as the Rick Bolis dunk champ.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Damn right.
Absolutely, man. So, and then we keep it pushing, and after you have a successful high school career, you decide to go to Penn State. And every time we have an athlete that plays any Division I program, before we even get into that, I like to congratulate them because that's huge, man. Like less than 2% of all high school athletes even go to play Division I. So
Right on.
huge shout out and flowers to you for that, man.
Thank you.
So. No problem, man. So and then Penn State. You choose Penn State, and what I want to know is, could it have been anybody else? I know you had Georgia, Clemson, Kentucky, Arkansas, a lot of big name programs knocking at your door. What was the reason and deciding factor that you went with Penn State?
I think the only word I can really bring up is maturity, and what I mean by that is I only went on 2 visits. If I could do it all over again, I would have went on all 5. I only did 2. I went to Arkansas and I went to Penn State. And when I saw it, Arkansas, I kind of saw more of a team that was already really cemented. Those guys really knew each other. They weren't particularly young. And I felt like at Penn State when I went on the trip there, and also knowing that Coach DeChellis and Coach Kanansky was head coach and head assistant, they were at Penn State literally every week, bro, during the recruiting period to come see me work out, they came to a few games, all types of stuff. It was just that sense of like loyalty and them wanting me so bad that from there I was like, this is where I feel like I belong. On the trip, I had so much fun on the visit. The guys were very welcoming. I watched them play pickup and everything. I liked the style of play. They moved the ball. They played together. And, of course, Penn State was not a high prolific school as far as basketball. I was like, hell, maybe I can be a part of something like really bringing a program out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they were perennial losers. I'm saying that at the end of the day, the everybody knows Penn State because of football. But maybe basketball can get a little shine too. So that was one of the main reasons I went there. And then also I signed with Taylor Battle, who's one of the best guards in the state of New York that year as well. And the last point of it was, like I said, the word that I started with was maturity. I needed to get away. And Penn State was 9 hours away from home. So there was no more babying me. And, like, I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn how to be on my own, how to be my own man. And moving to Penn State for school, I felt like it was the right decision. I really did. It came out to be a great experience. I had a lot of fun. I got my degree, and here I am now. And once again, my part of my journey was Penn State, and I felt like I made the right decision. Like you said, I had a lot of different schools, but just Penn State felt like the right place to be.
Absolutely, man, and honestly, that's big of you. A lot of people would have, you being from Kentucky, maybe they want to do that little hometown hero thing, but maybe sometimes that's not even good for them. That being around people who you grew up with, sometimes when you're starting to get, this fame, this notoriety, sometimes isn't the greatest thing for you. So that was a very mature decision for you to make at a young age. And then we get to your freshman year. You play in all 31 games. You start in 12. So talk to us about your freshman year. Were you ready for that Division I level? Because from high school to Division I, there's a gap, man. There's some guys are some scrubs in high school, and then Division I, everybody's that guy.
For sure. Like, I feel like for me, what happened was I got humble pie. I've always been a pretty humble guy, but I got humble pie early, and I had to figure out, did I make the right decision? And one way you figure that out is, do you stay? Do you stay loyal? Do you stay down? And like my freshman year, I came in, I was 185 pounds right away. You got to be on a weight program. All these different things are happening, 6 a.m. workouts, eating program, training in the weight room more than I was trained on the basketball floor just to get my strength up, because what I didn't realize was I was going to the Big Ten. Like that's physical brawn basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like the SEC, the ACC. ACC is a little mixed, but the SEC is more of an up and down game. The Pac-10, which had a couple schools, it's more up and down. But the Big Ten is all about literally brawn. Who wants it more? Boxing out, setting good screens. Every cut has to be efficient, because if you're not going to be able to get you're not going to be able to get open because your guy's going to be all over you, stuff like that. So I just had to really, stay the course, really watch my teammates that were actually playing more than me, and just picking up from them. And again, it tested me to see if I would stay down. My AU coach was telling me that like coming out of high school, I was supposed to be like a 2-year player, but honestly, I didn't go into the right. I didn't have the right mentality going into school. I was happy to be there, but I didn't realize that you also need that confidence of knowing yourself, what you need, and also being efficient at the same time. And I just didn't have the total package altogether, bro. Mentally, I did whatever I could to help us win, but as far as individually, I just wasn't there yet. I needed time, and I needed time, and that was what my freshman year was.
Absolutely, man. And then at the end of you have a good freshman year, and then come your sophomore year, through every basketball player's life, there's ups and downs, and you got to be able to deal with the down, and in sophomore year, you suffered a concussion in practice, but before the season even started, which forced you to miss some games. And then your junior year, when you were the team's leading rebounder, you suffered a shoulder injury. So what I want to know is, like, could you talk to the people about your mindset and how you, when your team needs you, when you're a vital piece of the team, how you mentally can get through that, and what are you telling yourself daily so that you can get back on the court and be even better version of yourself?
I think it just honestly, once again, it depends on how you were built and who you see in the mirror. Like for me, like what happened was my sophomore year, again, I tried again and I was trying to figure it out, but things just wasn't clicking, right? And then I kind of got down on myself. So even as far as school, I lost my place as far as why am I here? You know what I'm saying? It's not just basketball, it's also academics. So I went through a tough academic year as well. And my school helped me really figure out, how to be better as far as my academics, and also stay in a course like, Jeff, we really want you here. You know what I'm saying? We love the type of guy you are, and you don't even understand how good of a basketball player you are. And once again, that just showed so much credit to how much Penn State wanted me. My coaching staff, teammates wanted me to be there. Junior year, I had a better year because I started to gain a little bit more confidence. I wasn't so much more of a deer in the headlights anymore. I was kind of a deer, the deer in the night. I know cars come through this area now. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes it's more busy here, so I gotta, be able to maneuver differently. You know what I'm saying? I felt stronger as a player. I felt more confident. I felt that my teammates wanted me to, to be there after everything I went through my sophomore year. And then things just started to click, in junior year. At the end of the junior year, I had a really good year. At moments, like the last 3 months of my junior year, I really played pretty well going into my senior year. But once again, I felt like it was because I stayed the course, bro. I didn't give up. You know what I'm saying? Because everything in life that you want, as we all say, it's a cliche, but it's not given. You know what I'm saying? You have to earn it. You also have to take it. And that's what I feel like I did. I continuously just stayed the course, worked hard, was a good teammate, and that all came into fruition my senior year. So, and once again, I don't get to my senior year if I don't go through the ups and downs of my sophomore as well as my junior year.
Okay. I want to talk more about like games and stuff, because you said the Big Ten. You hear the Big 10 you think Michigan, you think Michigan State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Northwestern. I'm not sure when you were there, because it's the Big Ten. I think it's about 12 or might even be 14 teams now. It's like the Big 12 or something. But
it could be 21.
Yeah.
It's all
There's
now.
talks. Right, there's talks of like UCLA and all these teams coming over, but
it's crazy.
But when you were there, Jeff, what was it like playing on the road and like in those like crazy environments? Because I know the fan bases and stuff. What was the moment your freshman year? I know you got some stories about that. What was that like, man?
Bar none. Like, I don't know if there was a better conference than the Big Ten. Outside of Big East, okay, because the Big East was damn near like an NBA conference, bro. Some of the teams they had were just like, come on, bro. Some of y'all I shouldn't even be a college team. This is a damn pro team. Like, but the Big Ten was dope my all 4 years. And I remember my freshman year, because again, bro, when you playing in high school, it's cool. You playing in 3,000 person gym, you know what I'm saying? It's packed or whatever. It's cool. But then you walk into a Michigan State, you like, yo, the Breslin Center, this is sold out. 18,000 going crazy, and number, Spartan green and white. Like, yo, this is Then you go to Wisconsin. Wisconsin was nice back when I was in school. Freshman year, I'm like, damn, what is this? They had 3 guys 7 foot and up. And then their whole moniker was hold the ball for 35 seconds, get the best shot. And they were so big and strong, and then the fans were just on top of you as well. Oh, then let's move to Indiana, where literally the stadium goes straight up, and all the screams and yells are going right down on top of you, and it's in a sense suffocating. Then you go to Michigan. In Michigan, as we know, in Ann Arbor, rabid fans moved to Northwestern. Northwestern was not a big prolific team as far as basketball, but they love basketball there. It's very weird. Illinois. Same difference. You know what I'm saying? You can just go on and on the list of the Big Ten, bro. Every single night was like, yo, this is going to be an action-packed game. There's going to be people here coming to support their team. And you got to do what you got to do. And when I mean that, we know how to win games as a team. On the road is moving the ball, playing well, defensively, communicating. And if you didn't do that in the Big Ten, bro, you lose by 20. That's what you had to do just to even stay in the game. So if you wasn't doing that, you weren't even going to be in the game. It was over with. Because these different venues, man, with just the way the gyms were set up, the way the fans were, it was just, man, it was a hell of an experience. And I got to do that stuff for 4 straight years, bro. It was dope. It was very dope.
Man, absolutely, man. That absolutely. So, while we're talking about cool moments, I got to bring up. Honestly, one of the cool moments. Only you could say you've done. Not a lot of people on this earth could say. But let's go back to the date, man. Let's flash back to December 8th, 2009. You had a putback dunk that made ESPN's top 10 plays, but not just the top 10 plays. It was the number 1 play on ESPN. So what I got to ask you is, like, how does that feel? Like every kid's dream, when you're outside just playing on a yard, hooping, like that's every kid's dream is to be on a ESPN top 10. So how did that feel? Was your phone blowing up after? Or how did that go?
Bro, it was dope because now, you know what I'm saying, you look back and once again, now social media has changed everything because everybody has the phone, they're just quick access to everything. So back then, everybody's watching ESPN to see what had happened that night, the sports, blah, blah. So I remember the play like it was yesterday. My man, David Jackson, shot a little floater off the left block, missed. I don't even know why I jumped this way, but I was just like, man, I can catch your shit. So I was like, I can catch it, but I don't know what made me turn. But as soon as I turned, I was like, oh, now I got it. I might as well dunk it. So I dunked it backwards. And everybody was just like, what the hell was that? You know what I'm saying? And once again, that's just a flash of, like, I guess the talent everybody was talking about that I didn't even really know I was possessing. So I get home that night. We chilling at the apartment. So he was like, hey, bro, come on, man. Turn on ESPN. It's because they used to come on at 11. They used to end at 11. That's when the top 10 used to come on. So I remember the second play was Chris Bosh. He had like a crazy reverse layup. And I'm like, nah, man, I ain't on it, dog. Man, I would have been at least 7, 6, 7, something. I swear, bro, I was about to turn it off. And next thing I know, put back by Jeff Brooks. I said, oh, I'm number 1. Bro, my phone, my Facebook, this is when AIM was popping. Everything just started going off like all at the same time. Just doom, 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 doom. So, yeah, bro, it was crazy. And, people ask me about that all the time. And it was a hell of a moment for me. I couldn't stop smiling until I came to the gym the next day. And my coach was like, all right, this shit's over. Next game, you have one highlight. All right, let's see if you get another one. And but it was a special moment. I was on SportsCenter Top 10. If I'm not mistaken, I think I was on it like 6 different times. A few times for blocks. One time I was on there. One time I threw it off a guy's back playing Michigan State. They always guard the ball. The inbounds, they don't look at the ball. The guy's always looking at the play. And I threw it off a guy's back. I caught it and dunked it on the center. And I was on SportsCenter for that too. So I was on there quite a few times. And man, it was just a hell of a situation because that's always my claim to fame. I can always brag about those. Like, yeah, I was on SportsCenter like 5, 6 times. That was SportsCenter before y'all even know what SportsCenter is now. Y'all don't even know what that is now. So yeah, man, it was dope. It was a very dope feeling. Very dope feeling.
Man, I bet that's one of those feelings. See, you too humble. I still would have been talking about it. I'd have had it on my bio or something. All right, man.
No, I left it alone, bro. Like I said, man, I just when people ask, though, I always do. That's when I get excited. Like, yo, they remember that type stuff. And then I break it down. But yeah, like that was dope, man. But it's crazy. That was just a long time ago. That was 13 years ago, bro. It's crazy.
Man.
Jeez.
So then, man, Jeffrey. So you talked about some of these hard places to play. We talked about your top 10 play. But before we get into your pro career, what I want to know is you clearly played some prestigious programs and great players. But if you could think like off the top of your head, who was one guard that every night I'm not a guard, but like somebody had a guard that you would come up to every night you play, you knew, man, I gotta come ready. This is gonna be a battle. I can't come. I gotta get some good sleep the night before. I gotta eat my breakfast and all of that.
Well, there was 3 guys I can bring up because they all happened in different classes. So one was Raymar Morgan. He was older than me. Like I remember my freshman year, and I had never seen something like that in person other than Michael Beasley. Dude was like 6'8", 240, cut up crazy. You know what I'm saying? Michigan State with a big number 2 on his back, coming down the court with guard skills. I was like, yo, I got to guard that. Like, you don't even say him. You're like, I got to guard that because that's like a whole pack. Like, what the hell is that? Like, nah, dude ain't supposed to be here type shit, bro. He was nice. Raymond Morgan was very nice. He's still playing overseas as well. Then a guy I kind of grew up with throughout the Big Ten was John Lure. And he was like a 6'11", 3-man, 3-4. I had to guard him quite a few times, and we used to battle, me and John Lure. He was very good, very long, deceptively athletic, could shoot it. He was very nice. And, John Lure played in the league. I think he's still in the NBA to this day, honestly. And then another guy, the last guy I can bring up is Drew Crawford. He was silent, bro. Silent assassin at Northwestern. 3-man, 6'7". He ended up winning MVP in Italy about 2 years ago, if I'm going to say. No, 3 years ago. And I remember Northwestern, but he was nice. Dude could do it all at the 3-man spot. He could spot up. He could post up. He could bring it up the floor. Very good player. Athletic. I played against some really good guys when I was at Penn State, but those 3 definitely, to me, those guys I had to guard because they were all 3 different types of players. Raymond Morgan was more of a power guy. John Lure, like I said, was tall in a sense, kind of like a unicorn in the Big Ten because we didn't see guys like that, 6'11", moving like him. And then Drew was just silky smooth, man, like for real, off the bounce, off the catch. He could put it in the hole. He was a good guy, good player. He's a good guy because I know him personally, but really good player as well.
I know you went night to night, went up against some tough competition in the Big Ten, and then throughout, I'm sure even interconference and stuff like that, preseason games and all that, postseason, whatever it may be.
Yep.
But Jeff, let's dive into your pro career though, because I know we always obviously do our research before the show and everything for our interviews, and I was talking John, and I was going through your accolades and your pro career and everything. I message John. I'm like, man, this is a pros pro. Like Jeff Brooks Jr. Man, that's a pros pro. Because I was just looking at number one, how long. It. Yeah, no, absolutely. The number one, I was telling him the longevity of his career because a lot of people quit or they aren't able to have the success and length of your career, and then just the amount of times you've won in your professional career. But let's talk about how it's all started. You finish up at Penn State. You're a 4-year player there. What was the next step when you decided to go pro? Afterwards.
I honestly didn't know the next step. I tore my shoulder, as you guys mentioned, actually after my senior year. And the last play I made was a block shot against Temple in the tournament. And I tore my shoulder again. I dislocated it. So I tore my labrum. I was out of the game. And that's how I finished my career. So after that, I had to get surgery. I got surgery in April of that year, which would have been 2011. So they were like, oh, you probably going to be able to come back in like 4 months. Miraculously, I was back in like literally 2 months. Like I was able to start shooting the ball, moving around, dribbling. I was able to really get back on the floor a lot earlier than what I was supposed to. So I met my agent, who I still have to this day, through my coaching staff. And I feel like that's a key to a pro's career. If you don't have the right representation, someone who actually cares about you, who can put you in the right places, not only just to perform, but places that are good for you as a man, not just as a player. I feel like that's been a key to my success as far as my longevity of my career has been that. So we didn't know what was going to happen. I signed with him. He was like, oh, well, a couple teams are kind of skeptical about, your injury, blah, blah. I was like, man, you can just send me anywhere. I'll just play. I mean, I actually have an opportunity to play pro. And it came out that a team in Italy, which is Yazi, Italy, they gave me an opportunity without even working out. They just saw my highlights and they watched film on me. They were like, no, we got to have him. We'll take him. And I went to playing Yazi, Italy. Whew. That was definitely a culture shock. Definitely a culture shock for me. And I just remember getting off a plane, as I tell you to everybody, it was just like being on a different planet. I've been to Canada before, but I never flew, across seas. And it was just so different once you got off that plane, bro. And then, you get with the team and everything. And this is what I tell people that continues to ask me about my story. I almost got cut. And if I would have got cut, then we wouldn't be having this conversation because I probably wouldn't have figured it out. And this is where good organizations, good teammates, good people come into play. So I have a guy named Ryan Hoover, was our veteran. I'm going through it, bro. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't get my rhythm. Like, it was just bad, all bad. I couldn't perform. So the GM came to Ryan, was like, man, I don't think he's going to make it. We might have to cut him. And he was like, no, come on. Like, no, just give him like another week. So we had a team dinner. The coach told my teammates, like, hey, man, take Jeff out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Take him to a bar. I don't know, something. Like, just get him out of his apartment. Let him see that this place it's not that it was bad. It's just that I was somewhere else, bro. Like, I just couldn't figure it out. So we went out, we hung out with my teammates, and I really figured out that, like, these guys want me here. You know what I'm saying? And like I feel like when you get that type of energy from your teammates, your team, the club, you feel differently. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally, physically, you just feel different. So after that, bro, like 2 days later, we had another scrimmage. I had like 25 points, like 15 rebounds, something like that. And the GM came up to me and was like, "Oh, you good now?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm perfect." I was like, "My teammates showed me a great time. They want me here. I'm gonna do everything in my power to be here to help this team." And that's how it all happened, bro. And here I am today. If I would have got cut from Yazi, bro, I don't know what would have happened. I really don't, because I would have felt like it was my fault. And it's my fault per se, but also I was going through something that was just so different. I had to get used to it. I had to give myself time. And you was putting pressure on yourself, trying, no, because you got to be this, you got to be, no, I just need a little bit of time. And sometimes you don't get that time. And luckily, Yazi gave me the time. My teammates gave me the time. And here I am today.
Man, absolutely, and I'm really happy that you shed light on the mental health aspect of it, and where you were mentally, physically when you were out there, the culture shock, because I feel like a lot of people who aren't really in tune with overseas just think like, oh, if I don't make the NBA, I'm just gonna go overseas and just think that everything's gonna be okay. But like, life is like how you mentioned, it's a culture shock. We've had players on that said like they don't want to leave their apartment because they don't know how to say milk. They don't know how to go to the grocery store and ask for apples. So I absolutely, I love that you shed some light into that. What I want to ask you, you talked about the importance of representation and an agent. But what I want to know is, in that first year of your pro, or right when you were coming out of college, did you find that process to be a difficult process? We've heard other players in the past talk about how colleges didn't really prepare them for that picking an agent process, and how does it go? Or did you feel like Penn State had prepared you for that?
I don't want to say they prepared me to be a pro per se, because I feel like that bridge has always been shaky between amateur and pro, which I, now being 33, looking at college athletes, bro, they're pros, they're not amateurs. Once somebody's making money off this product, I'm not an amateur, I'm a pro. You know what I'm saying? It's just different, I guess, on how I receive my payment per se. But no, what I was saying earlier is about just having good people around me. That's been such a huge part of my success and my journey, is because I had a coaching staff that knew the right guys to place me with. I talked to like a couple agents, but my coach Ernie Nestor, who came on to us that year, he said he had the perfect man. And when I tell you, bro, that me and my agent's name's Dan Tobin, we talked 3 hours in my head coach's office about everything but basketball. And like I knew then and there, I was like, this is it. This is the fit, because it ain't always just about basketball. It's also about you as a man, what you've been through, what you've seen, what I can learn from you, the places you've been, blah, 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 blah. And off that experience of just having that conversation with him and having that vibe, it set me to where I was with him now. Just that this guy's about his clients, not only just once again the player, the men they are too. And I don't think a lot of people get that sensation when they meet an agent. You know what I'm saying? I know some guys who said they've had 6, 7 different agents, bro. And honestly, that's also once again on their college in a sense, because they didn't have the connections to set them up with someone, but also they just haven't had that, honestly, that luck of meeting someone who's there for them as well as their career. And that's what I've had. So everybody isn't as lucky as I am. I guess I can say that. And I've been a very lucky man when it comes to my career as far as the people I've had around me. I just can't hit I can't hit the nail on that enough, because that's in a sense of why I'm here, just because of the people that's been alongside me throughout my journey.
Yeah, that's amazing that you talk about that and to have that influence around you, because like a lot of times, yes, it is the product of what you're doing on the court, but the people around you, your teammates, and I think that's oftentimes lost too, especially in a player. If you're in an environment that cultivates you, especially from your teammate, your organization, and everything, it makes you perform that much better. And I think that gets lost a lot of times. I think you see it in the league, you see it overseas. Guys are in, like you said, a bad situation. Their teammates don't vibe with them. They're not getting involved. They don't like the culture they're in, playing wise or outside of it, and they struggle. So that's a huge component. I love you were able to shed some light on that, like John said. But
Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I want to, you talked about your first season a little bit, and was that season? I had your stats pulled up, so you ended up, getting your things together and averaging 17 points and 8 rebounds a game. Was that that was in the same season, that first season over there in Italy, right?
Yeah, yes, it was. That was the second league of Italy, like a duet.
Okay. So you got it together, like you said. You found the right fit. You found that teammates wanted you there, and that's great. You're able to turn around. But the second season with Cantu was the first Italian Super Cup you won, and you played in the EuroLeague with them, and I believe this was the first division Serie A with them. You played in.
Sure.
This was the first of your Italian Super Cups, man. So like you said earlier in the interview about you finding out this about yourself early on, that you just want to win, right? It's not about the personal accolades. And that's why I talked about later, we're going to get into it, but this was the first of 4 Super Cups, not even Italian Cups, which is different. But talk about this experience, man. Winning your first one.
That was dope. Like, we played against Siena, and Siena had won, I think, before we beat them in that Super Cup. I think they had won, like, did I hear it was like 20? It was like 20 straight cups or something like that, bro. Like, as far as the Super Cup, the Italian Cup, and then the championship. I heard they had won like 4 or 5 in a row, supposedly. So when we ran up against them, you run up against a juggernaut. It's like, damn, like, we got a whole new squad. Like, we had some young guys on the team, me, Jerry Smith, Alex Tyus, Johnny Taboo. Like, we had some younger players being mixed with some old heads, some vets. And, man, that first game, we just came out clicking, bro. We just came out clicking. It was just, compared to all the preseason games we had, everything just went well in that game. I actually just like a month ago watched the highlights of that game. And we just played very well together on both ends of the floor. And Siena was a hell of a team. It was a hell of a club. And for us to beat them, it was like, bro, we won the championship of the entire season already. We were just on mountain high from the get-go. So, yeah, it was just a very big part of my success as far as like I finally know what it is to be a winner as a pro. Like we went to the Italian Cup final when I was in Yazy in the second league, but we ended up losing. So when you win that first trophy, it's like, yo, I've actually won something. I won a trophy because my agent even told me, man, he's had guys had 14, 15-year careers and never won one trophy. So I was able to get one my my second year in the first league. So which is incredible. And yeah, it was a dope experience.
Yeah, that's amazing to, like you said, have that winning feeling in your second season. And then the third season, one of the better seasons of your career. You know, you made the All-Star team with Juve Caserta. I don't know if I said that correctly,
Yeah,
but you averaged
yeah, you said it correctly.
14 getting that Italian thing on me, but 14 points, 6 rebounds in Serie A. What was the key to success? I know this was a big season from you in terms of statistically, and in making the All-Star game. What was this your third season in Italy like?
I guess I can kind of go back into like my second year because like I had played in the EuroLeague, as you said earlier, and honestly, I didn't know what the hell that was. Like, and I had teammates that laughed at me. They were like, well, "You don't know EuroLeague?" I'm like, "No, like I'm just playing ball, bro. I'm playing ball. I'm playing pro ball. That's the only thing that matters to me."
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I went from the second league into EuroLeague, which like literally never happens. And I was with Cantu and just playing the season, seeing all these different clubs. So I was like, "Yo, this is really big time basketball. Like the EuroLeague is OD." So from there, when I left Cantu and played in Caserta, I had more of a maturity about myself as a pro because we gained some players at that club that were either coming from their first year in pro that really didn't play anywhere prolific, or they were coming from college, so they were kind of getting their burns under them, and we also had a couple guys coming from the G League. So since I, in a sense, had the most experience only in 2 years of like knowing what it is to be kind of like in a second league, but then go to Euro League and knowing what it takes to really compete and win, my coach really put a lot of pressure on me as far as leading, and that's just what I did. It wasn't just about my talent; it was the type of guy I was about saying if we all play well, we all look good, we all get to places that we want to get to, and we had a really good year. We had a really good year. We just didn't finish well because of how we started. We didn't gel well at the beginning. And then we got a new point guard. And I swear if we had this point guard from the beginning, we would have been like a top 5 team in the league. But we started off pretty bad. And in the second end of that season, teams were telling us like, yo, y'all scary. We don't want to meet y'all down the road because of the athleticism and the once again the gel you guys are playing with. And I was just confident that year, man. I was just really confident in what I was doing. My teammates was vibing with me. They saw I could make plays, and they saw I wanted to win. And that's how I had the year that I had.
Man, absolutely. And like how Justin mentioned, you had one of the best years of your career. And me and Justin we often talk about summers of separation, right? Like when people are sleep, when they chilling in the summer, you putting in work, called summer of separation. So to you, between that second to third season, or between either from when you graduated Penn State until that third season, what was there that summer separation? Was there a time where you did one thing in specific? I know you talked about your confidence. Your confidence was really glowing, and that's huge as a basketball player is confidence. But was there something else that you can attribute to that you would be like, yeah, that's like one of the biggest reasons I had that jump and I had one of the best seasons of my careers?
See, it's funny. You would think that it was actually like about skill work and stuff like that. Mine was mental. See, man, bro, I could talk to you guys for like literally hours about all this stuff, but try to make it short. In that year at Cantu, I was near Milan. So, bro, I can't lie. I was going out, hanging out. I was playing well, but it was a lot of stuff that like I was introduced to that I never been introduced to before. So it kind of got around to like, oh, this guy isn't, he's good, but is he serious? Is he blah, 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 blah? Because, he was going out, he's doing this, doing that. So that comes that summer, kind of got drastic, even though I played well, kind of like, oh, well, we don't know yet. We're gonna wait. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. And then, bro, that really started to bother me because it was like that's not who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I'm a bad guy, just that I'm young and I was enjoying myself, but also trying to be, with my team and blah blah. So when you go through something like that, and then like finally a team signs you, what happened mentally was like I gave everything I could to my club. You know what I'm saying? It was like you guys, in a sense, once again, it wasn't like I did anything crazy or nothing like that, but it just started getting around a little bit. They're like, we need to see if he's really into this. You know what I'm saying? If he's really about the game. And when Kazerta gave me the opportunity, I took it and I ran with it. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to thank them for, giving me that opportunity to continue to play pro ball, but also to show who I really am, show that I could be a leader as well as a good player, as well as a great teammate, and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So basically what happened, when you kind of feel like, yo, what? Like your agent, like, yeah, because this team, blah, blah. Like, oh, like I might not have a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different when you kind of plan and then all of a sudden you feel like, oh, I don't even know if teams want to take a chance on me, and you kind of start looking at yourself like, damn, am I a bad guy, blah, blah. No, it's just that you made some decisions acting in a way that you should have learned. That was a mistake I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? And from there, when I got to Kazerta, that's all it was just mentally, I put myself in the game. I threw myself into the game. I threw myself into being the best Jeff Brooks I could be in all angles, as a man, as a teammate, as a player, all that. And that's why I had the season that I had.
That's a huge step and a huge little nibbler right there about changing that mentality. Because obviously, guy we had on recently too has said it's 80% mental, 20% physical, which is interesting too, and that's alludes to that as well. But then, you had a great successful individual season, and then boom, you're back at it with Cesari in your fourth season, man. Shout out our guy Shane, friend of the show. Had him on before,
Right
but
on.
he
Yes, sir.
was
Yes,
he on
sir.
this squad? Was he on this squad
Oh
with
yeah,
you
yeah,
when you won the Super
yeah,
Cup?
was.
Y'all are some winners too. Makes sense. So you won the
Bro,
Italian Super Cup in that season, and Italian Cup, man. Talk about that season. I know that was
Wow.
great.
we won everything that season. The only thing we didn't do well was when we played EuroLeague, because guys, we didn't mesh well for EuroLeague, because EuroLeague, bro, is more than talent. Like, you have to really put it like this. I always say this: the Italian league is, I swear to God, it's like checkers, bro. It's up and down. It's my five against your five in most games, bro. They just kind of we up and down. We get into it. Offensive rebound, blah blah. In the Euro League, it's like chess, bro. It's like the coaches and the teams, they try to put everybody in the right position. Everybody, you got to be here. You got to be there. It was just different, bro. So when we played in that, as far as my team in Sassery, we just didn't understand what it took to compete in the Euro League. But when it came to the Italian League, bro, we was dangerous, bro. Like, nope, bro, you can go ask other people who played against us in that 2014-15 season. Nobody wanted to play us, bro. We had dogs, we had athleticism, we had experience, we had everything you needed. And we had dudes who was crazy as hell too. So we had everything you needed to have a special season, bro. We was always the underdog. Like, and every time we took that and put a chip on our shoulder for every single cup that we came into. And like, I had never seen a player like Shane before that season. Like, I know you guys know Shane and I've heard some of his story, but I swear to God, bro, seeing him that year, like, bro, it was like playing with the Incredible Hulk. Like, it was just, I'm telling y'all, dog, it was insane. Like, the shocking, the dunks he was catching, the energy, the chin. He made my job so easy, bro. Like, because then when I got to Sassery, I became more of a glue guy. Because then I played 3 and 4 throughout my career. When I got to Sassery, I was playing just mostly 4. And I was the glue guy. Like, everything in a sense was me to clean up. If it came to rebounding, making an open shot, making a play, setting good screens, diving on the floor for loose ball, help defense, all these different things, that was my role. And having a player like Shane, all I knew was if I get my player, whoever I'm guarding, all I got to do is lead him to the rim because Shane coming. You know what I'm saying? And if Shane playing one-on-one defense, he got to know that I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? And we just put so much trust in the Shane for like who he was, how athletic he was, but also just the passion that he had about being on the floor, bro. He was definitely the focal point of our team as far as the anchor of our team, bro. It was all Shane. And it was a special group, bro. We had Jerome Dyson. We had David Logan, who was a seasoned vet going into, I think it's like 18th or 19th year this season this year. Edgar Sosa, Kenny Kaji, Rakim Sanders, bro. The list goes on and on. The team was just stacked, bro. And I just will never forget Shane because of seeing he came from the second league that year too into our team and just seeing, bro, how he was. I ain't seen nothing like that since, honestly. It was incredible. Well,
So
I did
y'all
say it was
just
Hulk, so yeah, it was incredible. Incredible
yeah.
Hulk.
Facts. So y'all just fed off his energy. It was one of those things that was contagious, and I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot to do with the success. So that's amazing, man. It makes sense though, because Shane, the way he talks about the game too, and how he says those little things, the way he was talking about it, it makes sense that he played like that as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, and then so Jeff, you made stops. You know, primarily you played majority of your professional career in it's Italy, which I
Mm-hmm.
have some questions about that later, and you know your citizenship and all that. But you made stops in Spain, Russia. Talk about like those different leagues and how in terms of those three countries, because I know I've heard from multiple pros and things that you could go from Spain to France to Italy, and the style of basketball is going to be different in all those places.
Very,
Talk about a little bit
very
about
different.
that and your experience in those leagues.
Well, I played in Russia first. So I played at Saratov in the VTB, and it's actually a pretty good team. They love basketball in that city. It's a blue collar town. Like, um, it's very old, I guess you would say. Like, it's just not really a modern city at all. So, actually, that was the first year me and my wife was married, and honestly, bro, it wasn't much to do. So, I mean, keep it PG, but our son was conceived there because that was all we was doing, bro. Like, just I would go work out, go to practice, come home, and it was just me and my wife, watching TV and stuff like that. And we had started about having a son or a daughter. So there in that league, it was a bruiser league. I'm talking about, bro. Every night you coming out with blood, scratches, elbows to the jaw. It was a bruisers league, bro. It was nice. It was my type of style. I learned a lot about the physicality of basketball from playing in Russia because those dudes, bro, and the Russian guys, they think differently about physicality. They really do. It kind of reminded me of the '80s in the NBA. Like, bro, ain't no foul unless blood is drawn, type stuff, bro. It was definitely once again another maturation process for me because I had a really good season there too, and I was on a team that was very talented, and another coach who wanted me to be a catalyst and everything. And Brad Greenberg, if y'all know the name, Seth Greenberg's older brother. So from there, I go to Malaga, Spain, and I played in Malaga as a European because my wife is Italian. So just off the strength of that, I was playing as a European, and honestly, that's why I give so much credit to my wife because if it wasn't for her, I don't know if I would have had that opportunity to play in the ACB. And the ACB is the best league over there as far as nationally. It's insane. It's incredible. The presentation of it, the teams you have, the history, the players that you're going to face, and it don't matter, bro. Day in, day out, every single team you play, there's teams, bro, in other leagues where you look at it like, all right, we know we're going to beat them. Nah, ACB is not like that. For instance, bro, we had a team this year that went to did they go to they went to the Final Four, I think, of Euro Cup, right? Mm-hmm. Which is it was pretty damn good. They got relegated in the ACB. They fell out of the league. But they went to the Final Four of their European competition. That's how good the AC. Like every single night, you playing against a good team. You playing and COVID is over. That whole idea, like COVID and like the gyms and all that. Now that all that's gone. Now it's back to sold out arenas, and you know what I'm saying. And the fans are back. The energy. Yeah, bro, the ACB is like that. It's like that, man, for real. It's like that. I played against Luka Doncic, to Anthony Randolph, to Walter Tavares at Real Madrid. These just guys playing Real Madrid. Then you got your Nikola Mirotic, and then you got your who else? Man, it's just bro. I can go down the line. It's just so many different names, and that league is just incredible. So definitely, but Malaga, I played in Malaga, as I said, that's definitely like probably the best place I've played as far as work. The place, it's on the beach, beautiful weather all the time, really nice city, really nice people, basketball city, amazing place to play. And just another stop on my journey. But yeah, the ACB is like that, bro. It's like that.
Okay, okay, and I heard you say you played a young Luca, and when we had Shane on, Shane actually shared a picture where he was dunking on one of Luca's teammates. You can see Luca in the back looking a little scared, man. So what I want to ask is, we know what Luca is today, like one of the best top young talents in the under 25. But I want to ask, like, seeing the young Luca, did you see that? Did you know, like, oh yeah, this guy has flashes to be like one of the greats?
I'm not tooting my own horn when I say this, but in Europe, I'm one of the better defenders you're gonna find. So, like, I switch a lot. I guard a lot of guys on the perimeter. Young Luca, bro, at 17. Because when we played him with Shane, he was super young, bro. He was like 15, 16. He wasn't even playing. So, like, when I saw him at 17, 18, I knew he was different. Yeah, I was like, this kid's special. He's like, yeah, he's special. I was like, he's tall. He has the ball movement already. He gets to his spots. And what people did not give enough credit to is that when you play in Europe, it's more about this than it is the legs, bro. Like, you have to be able to read, because there ain't no defensive superior in the key and all that. Bro, he was reading the game so easily, bro. Like, it was different. And I actually had an argument after we actually beat them at home this game when I was in Malaga. And I had an argument with, well, it wasn't an argument, it was a debate. I like to say both words, but a debate with a scout that day in a bar, and we were talking about DeAndre Ayton and Luka Doncic. I'm like, bro, Luka is the number one pick. I was like, he might not get picked because, of course, then putting him with Devin Booker is going to be tough because they both 2, 3. How's it going to work? But, bro, he's the best player in this draft, bar none. Oh, no, like, because you can't take away from Aiden, and you got, Trae Young. I'm like, dog, I'm telling you, man. Like, watch what's going to happen. I'm telling y'all. And it comes to find out that, 2 years later, Luka says, yeah, playing in the NBA is easy compared to when I was playing, in the EuroLeague and playing in Spain, because the floor is so much space, so much spacing on the floor. The rules are different. Just even the idea of traveling with the basketball, like in the NBA, you ain't got to worry about that mostly. In Europe, bro, you make the wrong move, it's a travel. You go another way with the ball. You know what I'm saying? So all these different things that people don't even really pay attention to makes the game completely different from Europe to the NBA. So when Luka got over there, I already knew. Now, I can't lie. I didn't expect global phenom in year 3, but I did expect him to be a very, very good player in the NBA. I wasn't expecting Luka to be Luka Magic. I was expecting Luka to be Luka Doncic, not have a damn nickname in 3 years. I wasn't expecting that, honestly. But I knew he was going to be good, but I didn't know he was going to be that damn good.
Yeah. Nah, Luca was he was saying the NBA is easier than playing in Europe, but he really meant was he don't have to have Jeff Brooks switching on to him on defense.
That's what he really meant.
That's what he really meant. He was thinking that in his head, man.
He gave me one bucket. I won't lie. He gave me one bucket one time. I was like, damn, that's sweet. But I didn't know you had that. But other than that, I tried to make it as tough as possible for that kid, bro. But he's a very good player, man. He's very good. Very good player.
Yeah,
very good player. And as you guys can see, so I've seen it at a young age.
So off that note, though, what about you took it upon yourself? Obviously, you said you're a good defender and a great defender and everything. In Europe, you played in the top leagues of those 3 leagues, and who's been kind of the tougher matchups, or if maybe multiple guys? You played in the EuroLeague and everything. Who's been the tougher matchups you've had out there?
I can give you 3 names again. So one is Toko Shinigaya. I don't know if y'all know that name. He played in the league a bit, I think, with the Nets. And dude is like 6'8", like 235. But he's, once again, brawn. Bro, dude is a wrecking ball, bro, in the paint. Like, he's getting to wherever the hell he wants to get to, bro. Tough as nails. He's from Georgia, the country, not the state.
Mhm.
And really, really strong guy. He's a winner. Really good player. Other guys played in the NBA as well. Played at LSU. Y'all remember that name? Like 6'11". He's 3'4", silky smooth left-hander, handle, jump shot. Really good player. He played at Real Madrid for a very long time. Very good player as well. And then one guy, he played in the NBA after this, but I just remember I ain't gonna lie, bro. He gave me everything I wanted. He tore me up. When I was with Sassery, was Dario Saric. Like, I was hearing
Yeah.
about him, and I was like, oh, well, kind of heard about him shit because he was playing with Ephes. I was like, well, we don't see, blah, blah. Man, bro, I'm talking, he was doing moves and like crossover into a Euro. I'm like, and dude's like, at this point, dude was like 6'10", about 240, like not a small guy by any means, but the moves he was making was damn near like a two guard. I'm like, once again, you don't see this too often. Like, where is this coming from? This was when he was young too. Dario Saric was like that, bro. He was nice. So those are three guys I definitely remember. I'm still competing with Toko to this day. Anthony, I haven't competed against in a while since I was with Milan. He was injured not this season, but the season before he was injured all season, so I didn't really compete against him. But those three guys are definitely guys that stick out in my career.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely know all three of those guys, but specifically Anthony Randolph, because I'm a big Warrior fan. So I know he was drafted by us. He struggled a bit, but I'm glad to see I know he was out in Real Madrid. And I believe he also, did he play with Spain? Or I can't remember. He was playing with
He played with you talking about the national team?
Yeah, national team.
He played with Luka in Slovenia.
Yeah, that's
and they
right.
won Eurobasket together. Yeah. He recruited Anthony. That's what happened. He recruited him.
He recruited him for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. I remember that.
Once they got him, I was like, oh damn, Eurobasket over with. They should go with because they nice as it is. They got the Dragic brothers and they got some size on that team. Then you got Luka. Then you added Anthony Randolph. I was like, damn, like they gonna be nice. They end up winning it that year, the Eurobasket. Yep.
Yeah, that's a big
dope.
win. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I gotta ask you. You won 4 Italian Super Cups. One in 2020, one in 2018, one in 2014, one in 2012, and then 2 Italian Cups, 2015, 2021. That's obviously a lot of hardware. But out of all those stops, all those wins, what of those title runs? I know multiple in one couple years, but what would the most memorable favorite and why out of those?
It's definitely Sassery because in Sassery we ended up winning the championship that year too. So we got the triplete, which means we won all 3 in the same year, and nobody has done it since. Milan has won. We won. When I was in Milan last year, we won 2. We won the Super Cup, the Italian Cup, but we lost the championship the following year. This year, I was in a different team, but Milan won the Italian Cup and won the championship, but they lost the Super Cup. So I was like, yes, because nobody's got a triplete yet since Sassery. So, that was definitely my favorite one. Like I said, every time the lights came on, every time it was a cup to be won, somehow, some way, bro, we did whatever. And, we made history. Some people say it's one of the best teams Italy has ever had constructed as far as the Italian league. And it was a damn good team. It was a damn good team, bro. Damn good team. So a lot of crazy moments too. Teammates fighting in practice, argument, but all that stuff, bro, leads to championships. You need that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You really do. Mm-hmm. And definitely my favorite, well, as far as winning, definitely my favorite experience was with Sassery.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, with the fighting and all that builds, number one, character, but friction builds fire. So at the end of the day, sometimes you need that. So
Yes.
Honestly, you saying that doesn't surprise me. Like, we don't see all these successful teams behind doors, but I've also been part of successful teams. We've seen these programs, and that it takes some adversity and all that. So I'm not surprised, and that's cool that you say that for that
Right
year.
on.
But let's talk about the Italian national team. I know September 6, 2018. You might remember the day, you might not, but that was an important date. I looked it up because that was the day you officially became Italian. I know you talked about your wife being Italian. You finally get the citizenship, and then that leads you to being able to represent Italy in the 2019 World Cup. Talk about that
Yep.
experience and being able to represent a national team, man. That's huge.
Oh, it was dope, man. Like how I feel about that situation is that I'm representing, my wife and her family in a sense. Like I wasn't able to play for the United States, of course, because of the amazing talents that we have for the Team USA. But having someone actually want you to be a part of a national team is just so dope in itself. You know what I'm saying? So like, and you're not even from there. So it also shows once again the credit to who you are as a person as just as well as a player, because those guys were really open with me. We had so much fun in my experience in the games I did play in the World Cup in China. I had never been to China before. Such a dope experience. I had so much fun. I got to play against Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, Team Serbia. Played against Turkey that year. Played against the Philippines, Poland. I played against so many national teams, so many good pros and NBA players. Man, it was just a hell of an experience. Something that I would definitely be talking to my son about, in his future. Just that experience. But yeah, man, just again, just a humbling situation of like where I come from, how I was raised, everything I've seen to now. Like I'm here in China representing Italy. When the hell did I ever write this down and say that's what I wanted to do or this was going to happen? I did not, but here I am and here we are. So yeah, bro, it was special, very special moment. And I felt like it was a very special moment for my wife too, just to have someone being able to do something as big as this, representing her country, and she's the main connection is through her. Like, and like I said, I felt like when I was on the floor, she was out there with me, and my son was out there with me, and her family was out there with me, representing their country.
Man, absolutely. And me, I'm also a father. I got a baby girl. So you know what I'm saying? You just saying that, man,
Congratulations.
Appreciate that, man. You just saying that is beautiful, man. I know what it is I don't know what it's like to be out there playing, but I know it's like, to be gone for your child and, feeling like, you're doing this to represent your child. And I know your son he's a great dad. Tell him a lot of stories, man. So
Yes, sir.
It'll definitely be looking forward to that, man. But all right, Jeffrey.
Right
So we've talked about your basketball journey starting in Kentucky to your time at Penn State and your time going pro. But what we want to know now is what's next for Jeffrey Brooks. As the year goes on, what's next and what can the people expect coming from you?
Well, right now, I'm trying to just continue my career for as long as I can. My target is to play for another 5 to 6 years, if it's in Italy or if it's somewhere, just continue to play the game. But also not so much as about playing, it's also just sharing the idea of basketball and giving that the advice to your younger teammates. Because I was big dog as far as age this year on my team. Like I was 32. I was like, damn, I got players of 24, 25. So they coming to me for advice. It's like, yo, I remember when I was in those shoes. You know what I'm saying? So that's one reason why I want to continue to play too. And also, it's just fun, man. I get to play a game for my livelihood, bro. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? You know what I'm saying? For as long as they could. And from there, I have a clothing line with my wife and my brother-in-law that we started back in November of 2020. It just kind of sucks that we started during COVID. So we're here to this day just trying to get more and more people to see our product and more people to understand the journey of it, the ideas of it. And on the outside of that, my wife wants me to coach. I don't know about coaching because it's very tough. It's very time consuming as well as my career has been, Scouting, the same deal. So honestly, bro, I'm trying to just figure out exactly what I want to do, what I would like to do, you know what I'm saying, in my future. But it's definitely gonna be something that, in a sense, gives back. I ain't saying as far as charity, as far as money and all that. I mean the idea of advice on how to get to different plateaus, get to different places that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? What it takes, what I went through, you know what I'm saying? Because my journey isn't as traumatic as other people's. And I don't play against pros who've had lives where they didn't have their parents in their lives, some who came from orphanages, all types of stuff, man. So, but we all have our own journey and we all go through things. And I think one thing I can say in the future, I just want to be doing something where I can at least be a pillar of advice, a pillar of a how to, you know what I'm saying? Now, if it becomes coaching at the end of the day, then yeah, I'll coach or do whatever I can with basketball. But I just want to be able to connection as far as helping them get to where they want to get to. You know what I'm saying? And not gonna lie, making millions is a billion right now. So we're playing that as well. So yeah. Then if I hit that, we can really talk about charity. If I hit that. But no, on a serious note, yeah, just anything I can do to give back to some people to help them get to where they want to get to. Because again, I'm not LeBron James or anything like that, but I am Jeff Brooks, and I've had a journey of being where I am, and it hasn't been an easy one. And I think for anybody who's been in this situation of playing pro, or even what you guys are doing with your podcast, there's a journey to it, bro. It takes planning, it takes the right choices, it takes having the right people to get to where you want to get to. You know what I'm saying? And get to have things in your life that you want, and to sustain those things. That's another race in itself too. So yeah, we'll see though, man. I mean, my career is not over yet, so you guys can pray for that. Wish me luck on that one. But yeah, from there, man, I just want to keep playing this game that I always love, always enjoy. See what's next with Jeff Brooks. Jeff Brooks is still trying to figure it out his damn self.
Man, absolutely, man. And I will say, Jeff, I love what you said. You said I'm not LeBron James, I am Jeff Brooks, and I really love that because but people don't realize not everyone can be LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kobe Bryant, like that's the top of the top. But what I would like to ask, as we close out the podcast here is if there's a kid out there listening, who wants to have a successful career like you, who wants to go and make accolades and make history, whether it be college, whether it be pros, and be the best version of themselves, what's one piece of advice or maybe one or two sentences you would give to them? If they were listening, a young kid or even a younger you?
I think it's going to be more of a, not really a sentence. I think it's going to just be more of a conversation with Jeff in the past. I think one is the commitment I put into the game. I've always been committed to it, and not because I thought I would get something out of it. I've been committed to the game because I've loved it my entire life. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you go into anything in this life with a sense of commitment, it doesn't matter what happens. It's just the simple fact you're going to appreciate what you go through with that commitment. You know what I'm saying? If it's your marriage, if it's the career you want to pick, if it's losing 25 pounds or gaining 25 pounds of muscle, the commitment is what it's about. If you don't have a commitment to it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. I done had conversations with guys who just talk like, oh, yeah, because I want to do it. But then you don't see them at the gym. You don't see them enjoying the game. You just see them, in a sense, like talking and not doing. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not a workout guru. I ain't saying I'm in the gym for 22 hours out of the day or even like in a Cobra Mamba mentality type of way. But I've always been committed to the game, and I've been about do with what I've always been doing. That's being a good person, a good teammate, and also I could be whatever that looked like. And from there, humility. Everybody has talent. But to make the right choices, you have to have humility. And I know plenty of guys, John and Justin, who were better than me in high school. I know plenty of guys who were better than me in college. I know guys who've been better than me as pros, but they had to give up the game. And some of the reasons why is because of choices that they made. like I said, I wasn't on a path where, again, it wasn't that I was going crazy or nothing, but I wasn't making the right choices as far as my professional career, my professional resume off the floor. And those things follow you and you don't even realize it. You know what I'm saying? So the humility about knowing that I'm in this for a reason, I'm doing this for a reason, I'm trying to be the best person I can be, the best teammate I can be. I'm not trying to big up anybody. I'm not trying to say I'm just better than you because I'm better than you. I'm actually putting the work in behind it. I'm actually doing everything I can do to be a winner. I'm actually doing everything I can to be the humble man I'm supposed to be, because when you're humble, that's when you get results. That's when you're getting things. That's when karma really does come into play. And I know too many guys that have fell short because they weren't humble and they weren't committed. And that's why I'm here to this day. I have a beautiful wife, a loving wife. I have a wonderful son who gets on my damn nerves sometimes. But at the end of the day, he's my son. And I wouldn't have my son if it wasn't for this career I've had. And all that stems from the commitment I made to the game, the commitment I made to myself to be humble at all times and to enjoy the process and enjoy what I do. And that's why I'm here to this day. So that's the only piece of advice I can give, because that's the advice I would give my younger self to get to this moment, and maybe even to a better plateau. But I'm here now, and that's how I got here, through my commitment and my humility.
Man, absolutely. So if all the family out there, everybody listening, y'all hear what it is, man. Jeff Brooks is talking commitment is what it takes to get to that next level and to get to where you want to get to, man. And I love that, man. But Jay, my brother, do you have any last words for Jeff and all the fans out there as we start to wrap up here?
Yeah, no, thank you to our listeners as always, and Jeff, thank you for your time and sharing your story through basketball on the court, words of wisdom, because we always appreciate, everyone has a journey through this beautiful game, man, and it brings us together. Like, it brings us having a conversation now, and I always appreciate it, man. And like I always say, I always appreciate people's time, because that's really all we got. So appreciate
yes,
you,
it
Jeff.
is. I love that, because you don't get it back. So for you guys who want to share your time with me and have me on your podcast, and us just talk as men about the game, but also about things about life, and it's just been dope, man. I really appreciate you guys hitting me up and asking me to be on. I really appreciate it, and I wish you guys nothing but luck. I really do. You guys are doing a wonderful thing. You're shedding some light to the younger guys who are coming up playing this game, but also going through life, and they need these talks. And like you said, it is clutch, because clutch is like you said, with time. And every day that we get, bro, is in the clutch, because you don't know how much of it you have left. So I really appreciate you guys for having me on Clutch Talk. I really do.
Yes,
Anytime,
sir, man. Anytime, man. You are welcome back anytime. And for all the family out there, all the listeners, if you guys want to stay up to date with Jeff and everything that he's got going on, make sure you guys check the description down below, because I'm going to link his Instagram. I'm going to link all of his social medias. And Jeff, you're going to send me the link to you and your wife's clothing brand. I'm going to drop the link in the description down below. So for all the family, you guys make sure you guys check that out. And go show our guy Jeff some love, man, because he did us a big one by coming on today, Jeff. We really appreciate that.
I'm sending that to you right now, and I really appreciate you guys again. You guys have been great. Thank you for the interview. It's been dope, and yeah, man, you guys got something here. I wish you guys nothing but luck and nothing but the best, because this is really good. You guys know what you're doing. You guys are very respectful young men. I appreciate y'all, seriously. It's been great.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. I think that's a good place for us to go ahead and wrap it up here, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed Jeffrey's story, man. And if that's it, then we out of here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.
Peace.